Space weather. Date March 13, 2014. Prepared jointly by the U.S. Department of Commerce, NOAA, Space Weather Prediction Center and the U.S. Air Force. Updated 2014 March 13, 2200 hours UTC. Joint U.S. Air Force NOAA Solar Geophysical Activity Report and Forecast, SDF number 72, issued at 2200 hours UTC on March 13, 2014. Region 1996 refuses to go quietly. At 2234 UTC on March 12, this region produced a R2, moderate, solar flare radio blackout as it approached the west limb. Initial analysis indicates there was likely not a CME associated with this flare due to the impulsive nature and lack of substantial radio signatures. We also are seeing G1, minor, geomagnetic storm levels due to several hours of sustained negative BZ, slightly elevated total magnetic field, and a slight rise in the solar wind speeds, all solar wind conditions that can result in storming. Conditions are expected to last into the morning. Analysis of solar active regions and activity from March 12, 2100 hours UTC to March 13, 2100 hours UTC. Solar activity has been at high levels for the past 24 hours. The largest solar event of the period was a M9 event observed at March 12, 2234 UTC from region 1996, N14W78. There are currently 7 numbered sunspot regions on the disk. Geophysical Activity Summary March 12, 2100 hours UTC to March 13, 2100 hours UTC. The geomagnetic field has been at quiet to minor storm levels for the past 24 hours. Solar wind speed, as measured by the ACE spacecraft, reached a peak speed of 504 km per second at March 13, 2055 UTC. Total IMF reached 10 NT at March 13, 120 UTC. The maximum southward component of BZ reached -8 NT at March 12, 2313 UTC. Geophysical Activity Forecast. The geomagnetic field is expected to be at quiet to unsettled levels on March 14 and quiet levels on March 15 and March 16. Solar Activity Forecast. Solar activity is expected to be moderate with a slight chance for an X-class flare on March 14, March 15, and March 16. Because there are large, magnetically complex regions on the disk. Solar Flux 148 and estimated planetary A-index 14. The estimated planetary K-index at 2100 hours UTC on March 13 was 2. Space weather for the past 24 hours has been moderate. Geomagnetic storms reaching the G1 level occurred. Radio blackouts reaching the R2 level occurred. Space weather for the next 24 hours is predicted to be minor. Radio blackouts reaching the R1 level are expected. Space weather by the Australian Bureau of Meteorology. Thursday, March 13, last updated March 13, 3:17 UTC. Update. Small increase in geomagnetic activity observed to isolated active levels for Australian region. due to sustained period of southward IMF with some isolated minor storm periods at high latitudes. Morning message. Solar activity was at high levels during March 12 due to an M9 flare observed towards the west limb late in the day. Mostly low to moderate solar flare activity is expected for March 13, with a small chance of X-class flares. Mostly light solar wind speeds are expected. The solar wind IMF has turned mildly southward, which is expected to elevate geomagnetic activity mildly during the early part of the day of March 13. High-frequency radio communications are mostly normal to good with the chance of shortwave fade-outs. So far the space weather forecast. Over 3 days is a new forecast.